What if I told you that in just a few moments, you could uncover the truth about anyone, their deepest strengths, their hidden weaknesses, the part of them they never want the world to see? Because here's the reality. People can wear masks, they can smile, they can charm, they can say all the right things, but beneath the surface, their true nature is always there, waiting to be revealed. And if you know where to look, you can see it clear as day. You see, every person follows patterns. Every action, every choice, every instinct is a clue, a fingerprint left behind pointing to who they really are. And once you understand the code, once you recognize these patterns, no one can ever fool you again. Think about it. How many times have you trusted someone only to be betrayed? How many times have you given your time, your energy, your loyalty, only to realize later that person wasn't who you thought they were? What if you could know beforehand? What if before you placed your trust, before you let someone into your life, before you made a life-altering decision, you had the ability to see through the illusion? Because here's the truth. Personality isn't just what people say, it's what they show over and over again. And there are 5 tests, 5 undeniable ways to expose the reality of someone's character. These tests don't lie. They don't bend to persuasion. They strip away the masks, the false words, the carefully curated image until only the truth remains. Some of these tests happen naturally in moments of power or pressure. Others you can create intentionally to see what someone is really made of. And once you start applying them, you'll begin to notice something shocking. The patterns were always there. The red flags, the hidden strengths, the subtle but undeniable clues that were right in front of you all along. This isn't about judgment. It's about wisdom. It's about understanding human nature so deeply that you no longer fall for appearances. Because when you know what to look for, when you can decode behavior in real time, you will never be blindsided again. The question is, are you ready? Are you ready to see the truth? Are you ready to understand people at their core? If so, then let's begin. Because the first test is the most revealing of them all. Test 1, test power is the greatest revealer of character. It strips away pretense, it peels back the layers, and it forces the truth to the surface. Give someone power, even just a little bit, and watch what they do with it. Because in that moment, their true nature is no longer something they can hide. Think about it. When people are powerless, when they have no authority, no influence, no control. They have to be careful. They have to play the game. They have to smile when they don't want to, agree when they don't mean it, and present an image of themselves that aligns with what the world expects. Because they have to. They don't have the luxury of revealing who they really are. But the moment power enters the equation, the moment they hold even a little bit of control over someone else, everything changes. Power is the ultimate magnifying glass. It takes whatever is inside a person and amplifies it. If they are kind, compassionate, and just, power will make them even more so. It will give them the opportunity to uplift others, to lead with fairness, to create something greater than themselves. But if they are cruel, insecure, or selfish, that will rise to the surface as well, faster than you can imagine. We see this everywhere. Think about the boss who was once just an employee, friendly, understanding, approachable, but the second they got promoted, the second they had authority, their entire demeanor changed. Suddenly, they belittle those beneath them. They demand instead of ask. They see themselves as above the very people they used to stand beside. What does that tell you? It tells you that their former kindness wasn't who they really were. It was a mask they wore when they had no choice. Power didn't change them. It simply exposed them. Now think about the opposite. The leader who rises to power and stays the same. The one who remains humble, who listens, who values every person equally, regardless of rank or title. That is someone whose character was strong enough before they had power to resist the corruption that comes with it. That is someone you can trust because they have already passed the most difficult test of all. So ask yourself, how does someone handle power when they have it, even in the smallest ways? Does a friend suddenly act differently when they know they have something you need? Do they use their advantage to manipulate, to control, to make you feel small? Or do they stay the same, generous, fair, treating you with the same respect as always? Watch how people treat waiters, cashiers, employees, service workers, anyone they have even a slight amount of power over, because in those moments they are revealing everything about themselves. How they treat someone who cannot fight back, who has no choice but to serve, to obey, to endure, tells you far more than how they treat their equals or their superiors. It's easy to be polite to your boss. It's easy to be charming to someone who has something you want. But true character is shown when there is no reward, no consequence, no reason to be kind except for the fact that kindness is who they really are. And here's the secret most people don't realize. Power doesn't just reveal how someone treats others. It also reveals how they see themselves. Some people crave power because they fear being powerless. Deep down, they are insecure. They need control to feel valuable, to feel safe. These are the people who, the moment they get power, abuse it. They don't use it as a tool, they use it as a shield. They use it to prove something to themselves at the expense of everyone else. But the strongest people, the ones who are truly secure in who they are, they don't need power to feel powerful. They don't need to dominate to prove their worth. And because of that, when they do gain power, they handle it with care, with responsibility, with wisdom. And that is the difference. So if you really want to understand someone's personality, don't just look at how they treat you. Look at what they do when they have power in any form. Give them a leadership position. See if they uplift or oppress. Give them responsibility. Watch if they handle it with integrity or arrogance. Give them control over a situation. Notice if they use it to create peace or to create chaos. And if you don't have the opportunity to give them power yourself, pay attention to moments when life does. Because at some point, power will come, even if it's small, even if it's temporary. And in that moment, when they believe no one is watching, when they think they finally have control, they will show you exactly who they are. And once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. 2, the adversity test. Pressure doesn't build character, it reveals it. You never truly know who someone is until they are tested, until life shakes them to their core. Until they are faced with a challenge so great, a loss so painful, a moment so overwhelming that they can no longer control their reaction. That is when their true self, their real nature, is exposed. Because it's easy to be kind when things are going well. It's easy to be patient when nothing is testing your limits. It's easy to appear strong when you've never been broken. But when adversity strikes, when the walls close in, when all the comforts are stripped away and the future looks uncertain, that is when the mask falls. That is when you see who a person truly is. Think about the last time you watched someone go through hardship. How did they respond? Did they rise to the occasion, facing their struggle with resilience, refusing to let it break them? Or did they crumble, lash out, blame others, and sink into bitterness? Because here's the truth, adversity brings out what's already inside a person. Some people, when tested, become selfish. They turn inward, thinking only of themselves, expecting the world to owe them something because they're struggling. They demand sympathy, yet they offer none. They use hardship as an excuse for cruelty, as a justification for treating others poorly. In their mind, their suffering gives them permission to act however they want, no matter who gets hurt in the process. And then there are the others, the ones who, even in their darkest moments, refuse to let adversity make them bitter. The ones who, despite their own pain, still find the strength to be kind. The ones who fall but refuse to stay down. Who suffer but refuse to let suffering define them. Who struggle but never use their struggle as an excuse to harm those around them. These people don't avoid pain. They endure it. They use it to become stronger, wiser, better. And that is what makes all the difference. If you truly want to understand someone's personality, don't just observe them in moments of comfort. Watch them when they're tested. Watch how they react when things don't go their way. When they lose a job, when a relationship falls apart, when they fail at something they deeply cared about. Do they take responsibility, learn from their mistakes, and keep moving forward? Or do they lash out, sink into self-pity, and let adversity destroy them? And here's where it gets even more revealing. Watch how they treat others when they are struggling. Because some people, when they are going through pain, become the pain. They turn cold, cruel, and careless, as if the world now owes them something. Their suffering becomes their identity, and they spread their misery to everyone around them. But others, the strongest ones, do the opposite. Even when they are hurting, they still show up for the people they love. Even when life is unfair, they refuse to take it out on those who had nothing to do with it. Even when they feel broken, they find the strength to be gentle. This is why adversity is the greatest test of character, because it forces a choice. Will this person let hardship define them, or will they rise above it? And make no mistake, This test will come for everyone. There is no escaping struggle in this life. No matter how carefully someone plans, no matter how much they try to avoid difficulty, no matter how much they believe they are in control, adversity will come. It will hit them in ways they never expected, at times they never saw coming. And in that moment, when they are backed into a corner with no easy way out, they will show you exactly who they are. They will show you whether they are strong or weak, selfish or selfless, resilient or defeated. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. So if you want to know someone's true character, don't just look at how they act when life is good. Look at how they respond when everything falls apart, because that is who they really are. Test 3, the integrity test. Integrity is not what someone does when the world is watching. It's what they do when no one is. It's easy to pretend to be a good person when there are eyes on you, when there's an audience, when there's a reward for being seen as honest, as kind, as trustworthy. But true integrity, that's something different. True integrity is about what a person does in the moments that don't count in the eyes of the world, when there is no applause, no recognition, no punishment, no consequence. It's about the choices someone makes when they could easily get away with doing the wrong thing and still they choose to do what's right. Because here's the truth. Some people only behave morally because they are forced to, because they are afraid of consequences, because they don't want to be caught. But the second those consequences are removed, the second they believe no one will ever find out, that is when their true nature is exposed. Think about it. The employee who only works hard when the boss is around, but the moment they are alone, they slack off. The friend who speaks kindly to your face, but the second you're gone, they criticize you behind your back. The partner who is loyal when they think they'll get caught, but the moment they believe they can cheat without being discovered, they betray the relationship. The person who seems honest but will steal if they think no one is looking. That is not integrity, that is performance. And performance is not character. If you truly want to know someone's real personality, watch what they do when they believe no one is watching. Pay attention to their smallest choices, because those choices are what reveal the truth. Integrity isn't about the big moments. It's about the everyday moments. It's about the little decisions that seem insignificant, the ones most people ignore. But those moments add up. Those moments define who a person really is. Because the reality is this: a person who lies about small things will lie about big things. A person who is disloyal in minor ways will be disloyal in major ways. A person who cuts corners when they think it doesn't matter will cut corners when it does matter. There is no such thing as a dishonest person who is only dishonest sometimes. There is no such thing as someone who lacks integrity in one area of life but magically has it in another. Character is consistent. The way someone treats a stranger is the way they will eventually treat you. The way someone behaves when they have nothing to lose is the way they will behave when everything is at stake. So the question is, how do you test for integrity? You observe. You don't listen to what a person says, you watch what they do. How do they behave in small, everyday moments? When they receive extra change at a store, do they return it or do they pocket it? When no one is keeping track of their work, do they still put in effort or do they cut corners? When they are trusted with something valuable, do they protect it or do they exploit it? Pay attention to the way they treat people they don't need to impress, the way they treat those who have nothing to offer them. Do they show kindness when there's no benefit to being kind? Do they show honesty when lying would be easier? Integrity is not a one-time thing. It's not a switch that turns on and off. It's a pattern, a habit, a way of living. And here's something else to consider. A person with true integrity will not only avoid doing the wrong thing, they will also stand up against wrong when they see it. Because integrity isn't just about avoiding bad behavior, it's about fighting against it. It's about the person who refuses to laugh at a cruel joke, even when everyone else does. The person who speaks up when they see someone being mistreated. The person who will tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable. The person who will do what's right even when it costs them something. That is the real test of character. Because, let's be honest, anyone can be good when it's convenient. Anyone can pretend to be honest when honesty is easy. But the true measure of a person is what they do when there is no reward, when there is no recognition, when there is no punishment for staying silent, for looking the other way, for taking the easy road. And once you see this in someone, once you see whether they stand by their principles when it actually matters, you will never be confused about their character again. So if you want to know who someone truly is, don't ask them about their values, watch how they live. Because integrity is not about words, it is about action. Test 4. Loyalty test. Loyalty is one of the rarest and most powerful traits a person can have. It is the foundation of every strong relationship, whether it's friendship, family, business, or love. But here's the truth. Most people are only loyal when it's easy. Real loyalty, the kind that stands the test of time, the kind that doesn't bend under pressure, is something few people truly possess. And if you don't know how to test for it, you may find yourself surrounded by people who are only with you for as long as it benefits them. So how do you know if someone is truly loyal? How do you know if they will stand by you, not just in the good times, but in the hard times? You test them. You don't test loyalty when things are comfortable. You test it when things get difficult, because that is when people show their true colors. Think about it. Anyone can be by your side when everything is going well, when you're winning, when you're successful, when you have something to offer, when you are useful to them. But what happens when you stumble, when you fail, when you go through a crisis, when you lose what you once had, when you can no longer provide the same advantages you used to? Do they stand by you, or do they start to disappear? This is the first and most obvious test of loyalty. Who remains when you have nothing left to give? Some people are loyal to you, while others are only loyal to the benefits of being around you. And the only way to tell the difference is to go through hardship and see who stays down. But that's just the beginning. Because loyalty isn't just about whether someone sticks around. It's also about how they behave when you're not there to see it. This is where the second loyalty test comes in. How does this person talk about you when you're not around? A truly loyal person will defend you even in your absence. They will not allow others to speak against you, to mock you, to twist your name in their mouth. They will protect your reputation the same way they would protect their own. But a disloyal person, they will smile in your face and nod along when others insult you behind your back. They will allow disrespect to spread unchecked because they are too weak to stand up for you. And worse, some will even contribute to the disrespect, adding their own words to the fire while acting like your friend when you return. This is why you must listen. You must watch for the signs, because a person who speaks badly of others to you will eventually speak badly of you to others. If someone is disloyal to others, they will be disloyal to you. It's just a matter of time. Now, here's another test. The third test of loyalty. What happens when your interests and theirs come into conflict? True loyalty doesn't just exist when it's convenient. True loyalty means that even when someone has an opportunity to betray you, when doing so would benefit them, they still choose to stand by you. For example, does a business partner remain honest even when lying would make them richer? Does a friend keep your secrets even when revealing them would gain them favor with others? Does a romantic partner stay committed even when temptation is placed directly in front of them? Loyalty is proven in moments of choice, and the hardest loyalty test of all is this. Does this person remain true to you even when disloyalty would be easier? Because that is the ultimate test. Anyone can be loyal when it costs them nothing, but the moment loyalty requires sacrifice, the moment it demands integrity over self-interest, that is when you see what someone is really made of. Now let's talk about the fourth test of loyalty. How does this person handle your success? This is the test that most people fail, because while it's common to talk about loyalty in hard times, what most people don't realize is that success is just as powerful of a test as struggle. Many people will stand by you when you're struggling, not because they're truly loyal, but because they enjoy seeing you beneath them. They feel safe when you are struggling because your struggle doesn't threaten their ego. But what happens when you rise? What happens when you start to grow, when you start to win? When your success forces them to confront their own insecurities? A truly loyal person will celebrate you. They will cheer for you with genuine happiness. They will feel proud, not envious. But a disloyal person, they will start to resent you. They will begin to downplay your success, make passive-aggressive comments, or withdraw from you altogether because your growth makes them feel small. And here's the final test. The fifth and ultimate loyalty test. Will they remain loyal even when they are angry with you? This is the real test. Because in every relationship, friendship, business, family, romance, there will be conflict. There will be misunderstandings. There will be moments of anger, of frustration, of pain. And in those moments, loyalty is tested more than ever. Because here's what you need to understand. A disloyal person, the moment they feel hurt or offended, will turn against you. They will seek revenge. They will air your secrets. They will suddenly forget all the good you've done for them. They will try to tear you down the moment you are no longer on their side. But a truly loyal person, Even in anger, they will protect you. Even when they are frustrated, they will never seek to destroy you. Even when they disagree with you, they will still respect you. Because loyalty is not about agreeing all the time. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about standing by someone, even when things aren't perfect. And that is what makes loyalty so rare. Most people will fail at least one of these tests, but those who pass, those are the ones you hold on to. Those are the ones you trust. Those are the ones who are worth every ounce of loyalty you give in return. Because when you find someone who is truly loyal, through struggle, through absence, through success, through conflict, through time, you have found something priceless. And once you know how to test for it, you will never again waste your time on people who don't deserve your trust. Test 5, the consistency test. Consistency is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, any lasting success, any true character. It is the ultimate measure of integrity, loyalty, and strength, and yet it is also one of the most misunderstood traits. People can be passionate, they can be inspired, they can be full of energy and ideas one day, only to fade into nothingness the next. We all know those people who seem to start something with great promise, but then just as quickly abandon it when it gets difficult, when the novelty wears off, or when life throws them off course. They make big promises only to backpedal when the work begins. But consistency is different. Consistency is not about making big, bold declarations only to fall short. It's about showing up day after day, regardless of how you feel, regardless of external circumstances, and doing what you said you would do. If you truly want to know someone's character, if you truly want to understand who they are, you need to see if they are consistent. Because here's the reality. There are millions of people who will promise you the world when they're inspired, when they're in the moment, when they're riding high, but when the highs fade, when the excitement wears off, when the obstacles appear, that is when you truly find out who they are. Consistency is the true measure of a person's character because it forces them to remain who they are when life gets complicated. It separates the dreamers from the doers. It separates the talkers from the achievers. And it's the key to identifying those who will be there for you when you need them most versus those who are only around for the good times. So how do you test for consistency? First, let's consider this. What does this person do when life is hard? Because it's easy to show up when everything is going well. It's easy to be excited when life is perfect, when there are no challenges, when success seems guaranteed. But what about when things fall apart? What about when the unexpected happens, when they face rejection, failure, or adversity? What about when life throws them off course? Will they still show up or will they disappear? The true test of someone's consistency is whether they stick to their word when the going gets tough. Do they continue to honor their commitments even when they're exhausted? Do they still show up to help when it's no longer convenient? Do they stay true to their promises even when the rewards seem far off or when the results aren't immediately visible? True consistency isn't about how someone acts when everything is aligned and perfect. It's about how they act when everything is out of alignment and imperfect. Now let's take this a step further. What about when there is no one watching? Anyone can be consistent when there's an audience. Anyone can do the right thing when they know someone is keeping score. But consistency isn't about being good when you're being observed. It's about being good when no one is around. Ask yourself, how does this person behave when they don't think anyone will notice? Do they still put in the effort when they think no one will give them credit? Do they still follow through when there's no reward, no recognition, no applause? That is the true test. Because consistency is not about recognition. It's about a commitment to doing the right thing even when no one else is paying attention. Think about it this way. The true measure of someone's character is in how they behave when they are alone, when they don't have to keep up appearances, when there are no cameras or eyes following them. Do they continue to honor their values and promises, or do they falter when no one is there to hold them accountable? And now let's move into a different angle. What about when this person's behavior doesn't match their words? We've all met those people who talk a big game. They tell you all about their ambitions, their dreams, their plans. They promise the world. They have the words down perfectly. But when it's time to take action, when it's time to back up those words with real consistent behavior, they disappear. The problem here is that it's easy to talk about things. It's easy to make promises when there are no consequences. It's easy to say you'll do something when it costs you nothing, but true consistency is shown when your actions align with your words every single day. You can tell a lot about a person by their ability to follow through. Consistency isn't about big gestures. It's about keeping the little promises, the ones you make when no one is around to hear them. It's about delivering on the small commitments that don't seem important to others, but that mean the world to you. Ask yourself this. When this person makes a promise, do they follow through, or do they let it slide when it becomes difficult? When they say they'll be there for you, do they show up, or do they back out when a better offer comes along? Consistency isn't about making grand gestures. It's about showing up for the small moments, the quiet moments, the ones that aren't flashy, but that build the trust and loyalty that will last over time. Next, think about this. How does this person treat others over time? It's easy to make a good first impression. It's easy to treat people well when they are new to you, when they are still in the honeymoon phase of the relationship, when you're still figuring out the boundaries. But what about after the novelty wears off? What about after time has passed and the initial excitement fades? How does this person treat you then? True consistency means treating others with the same respect, kindness, and honesty over time. It means not just being good to someone in the early stages of a relationship, but continuing to show them care, respect, and loyalty, even when you no longer feel the need to impress them. What happens after the honeymoon phase? Do they still show you the same effort they did when you first met, or does the relationship grow stale and one-sided? Consistency is the foundation of a lasting relationship. It's what transforms a fleeting connection into a bond that stands the test of time. It's what proves that someone truly values you and not just the idea of you. Finally, let's talk about this. How does this person handle their commitments in the face of temptation? Temptation is everywhere. There will always be distractions, easier routes, more attractive alternatives. The real test of consistency is whether someone can stay true to their commitments when it would be so easy to stray. True consistency doesn't mean never being tempted. It means sticking to your values, sticking to your promises, even when you are tempted to walk away, to take the shortcut, to abandon your commitments. Think about this. Does this person stick to their word even when it's difficult? Or do they take the easier path when no one is looking? Do they follow through with their promises even when there's a temptation to break them for personal gain? Consistency is about resilience. It's about the strength to keep moving forward even when everything else in the world is pushing you in the opposite direction. Now you may be asking, why is consistency so important? Because consistency builds trust. Trust is the foundation of everything. Without trust, you have nothing. Without consistency, you cannot build trust. You cannot build a relationship. You cannot create success. If you want to know someone's true character, pay attention to their consistency. How do they show up every day? How do they treat others? How do they respond to challenges, to temptations, to obstacles? Consistency is the thread that ties everything together. It's what transforms dreams into reality. It's what separates those who succeed from those who fail. It's what turns a fleeting relationship into a lasting bond. So the next time you're wondering about someone's true nature, ask yourself one question: are they consistent? And when you find someone who is, hold on to them with everything you have, because consistency is the true measure of a person's worth. Now that you've seen the 5 tests, the test that reveals someone's true personality, there's one final question you must ask yourself. How will you use this knowledge? Because knowing the truth about others is only half the battle. The real power lies in how you apply it in your life. Will you allow these tests to guide you to better relationships, stronger connections, and deeper trust? Will you be the person who stands by their values no matter the circumstances, no matter the challenge? Will you use what you've learned to elevate your own character, to become the person you aspire to be, not just in the easy moments, but in every moment? The truth is, we all face these tests every day. And while we can't always control how others behave, we can control how we respond. We can choose to be consistent, to be loyal, to have integrity, to show our true colors in the most difficult moments. The 5 tests are a mirror, not just to the people around you, but to yourself. What do you see when you look into that mirror? What kind of person are you becoming? The answers you find will shape the life you live, the relationships you build, and the legacy you leave behind. So ask yourself the final question. Are you passing your own tests? The person you are today doesn't have to be the person you remain. The power to change, to evolve, to become better is within you. But it starts with being honest not only about others, but about yourself. So, as you move forward from this moment, remember this: the most important test you'll ever face isn't a test of others, it's a test of you. How will you rise to meet it?